is all about perception, employee motivation, and global leadership. Okay. Now, I remember interviewing someone, I think you probably know him. I think it's Dr. Mohammed. I think it is Dr. Mohammed. I think you know him as well. He was on the summit, your summit. And we talked about global leadership. And he talked about this not being a leadership as it pertains to the employee and the leader, but inclusive leadership. He talks a lot about that. What is your take on this whole thing with perception, employee motivation, and global leadership? Because I know there's so much around that topic today. So tell us.
Yes, so basically, Dr. Diane Hamilton and we did a research in the field of perception, and we were studying which variables impact your perception, which mechanisms are actually influencing your perception mechanisms, and ultimately how that connects to your leadership skills. Perception actually impacts all of your life. You know, every single layer of your life is impacted by your perception. As I'm talking, your audience is processing this info, and they're making, you know, certain opinions pertaining to me, maybe you, this summit, and our engagement. The same way we interact with our loved ones, with our spouses, with our significant others, with our children, relatives. That's also when we're interacting in a business world, when we interact with people, our perception plays such an important role. So Dr. Diane Hamilton and we realized that we are actually processing information quite a bit differently. And that was as a result of our perception, the way we perceive things. Right. Therefore, we focused on studying perception. Why? In order to get the employers, first and foremost, to understand the perception mechanisms of their employees, in order to make sure they're communicating properly and to make them more effective.
Well, give us an example. Give us an example. Give us an example of what some of the things you and Dr. Diane found out.
Well, for example, the way the book came about, the way our research came about, Diane and I were on the receiving end of the very same message, actually. It was actually a meeting in which we were told that big change is coming. Some of us may not like the change. Some people have more responsibilities. That was the message. The message was identical. We were actually in the same meeting area at the time. I walked away with the notion of we're getting fired. She walks away with the notion of we're getting promoted. Now, this is the very same message. Wow. Two women, I mean, no one's identical, but two women, educated, highly educated women working in the same field, hearing the same message, hearing something so vastly different. Wow. We started teasing each other. A lot of times I would say, well, Diane is more of an optimist, I'm more of a pessimist, which shared a little bit of my life experiences. Life had kind of taught me, you know, things are not always wonderful, right? Yes. But I was always prepared for the worst. And we were starting to go through what things impact perception. So it is your, emotional intelligence, your regular intelligence, your gender, your curiosity, your culture, so many things that are impacting your perception. And why it matters? Well, for the leaders of the company, it matters quite a bit. If I'm going into a conference room with one particular message, and I want all of these people currently in Zoom to follow me. One message. Well, yeah, one message. What if I get 34 perception of what I'm trying to say? We're not going to be effective as a team. So the perception book was done. We were basing ourselves on, on that concept of you will never get two individuals to have a completely aligned perception. I mean, that is not our goal, but can we align it to the extent possible, as close as possible to that fluid concept of a business reality? That's the bottom line. That's what we ventured out to do. And that's why we have the perception index, where employees are first assessing where they stand with their perception. We work with many companies that are distributing that index to their employees. And the goal is to polish your perception. Right. And also this can help you in your personal life. Because how many times were we talking to our significant other and we walk out of that kitchen not talking to each other? A lot of times it's not necessarily everything that was said, it's how we interpreted what was being said. Indeed.